Welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of hidden treasures as we explore the top 4 ultra-rare Buffalo and Jefferson 5-cent coins that collectors and investors are always searching for. These 5-cent coins may look like ordinary nickels, but certain rare dates, mint marks, and minting errors have made some of them worth thousands, tens of thousands, and even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Whether you've found an old Buffalo nickel or a Jefferson nickel in your pocket change or inherited collection, this video could help you discover a valuable hidden treasure. So before you spend that old nickel, make sure to stay until the end because you might be holding a coin that's worth far more than just 5 cents. Alright everyone, let's get started. First up, the 1929 Buffalo nickel without a mint mark in circulated condition. At first glance, this nearly century-old 5-cent coin may appear to be nothing more than an old piece of worn currency, but experienced collectors understand that every Buffalo nickel carries an unforgettable history. Every softened design detail, every naturally aged surface, and every tiny mark left by decades of circulation reflects a remarkable journey through American history. This small coin has survived changing generations, economic challenges, and countless everyday transactions, making it one of the most admired collectibles in American numismatics. The Buffalo nickel, also known as the Indian head nickel, first entered circulation in 1913 and immediately became one of the most beautiful coins ever issued by the United States Mint. Unlike earlier coin designs that focused mainly on symbols and traditional portraits, the Buffalo nickel celebrated America's frontier heritage by honoring Native American culture on one side and the magnificent American bison on the other. This bold artistic approach made the coin an instant favorite among the public, and even today it continues inspiring collectors around the world with its timeless beauty and historical importance. Because this coin has no mint mark, collectors know it was struck at the historic Philadelphia Mint. Every Buffalo nickel produced there began its life with brilliant mint luster, sharp lettering, and beautifully detailed artwork. As each coin left the minting presses, it entered circulation ready to become part of everyday American life. While millions of Buffalo nickels were produced during the late 1920s, every surviving example followed its own completely unique path, creating a story unlike any other coin from the same year. The year 1929 holds a very special place in American history. It was a period filled with dramatic changes that would shape the future of the nation. Businesses bustled with activity, families embraced modern conveniences, automobiles became increasingly common, and communities continued growing. Throughout this memorable year, Buffalo nickels quietly moved through grocery stores, train stations, restaurants, local markets, banks, and neighborhood businesses. Every transaction added another chapter to the remarkable history carried by this small but unforgettable coin. A circulated 1929 Buffalo nickel possesses a unique beauty that cannot be duplicated by modern coins. Unlike examples preserved immediately after leaving the mint, circulated pieces proudly display authentic signs of honest use. Every gently worn detail reflects years of faithful service, while every naturally toned surface tells collectors that this coin truly fulfilled the purpose for which it was originally created. These characteristics give circulated Buffalo nickels warmth, personality, and historical authenticity that collectors deeply appreciate. Imagine where this extraordinary Buffalo nickel may have traveled throughout its incredible lifetime. Perhaps it rested inside the pocket of a hardworking farmer, accompanied a railway conductor across multiple states, or passed through the hands of shopkeepers inside small-town general stores. Maybe it purchased fresh groceries for a young family, paid for a train ride across the country, or quietly waited inside an old wooden cash register before beginning another fascinating adventure. Every exchange became another invisible page in its remarkable story. One of the greatest joys of collecting historic coins comes from realizing that every circulated example silently connects generations of people. This Buffalo nickel may have passed through the hands of teachers, farmers, factory workers, bankers, merchants, mechanics, soldiers, children, parents, and grandparents. Every person who carried this coin unknowingly contributed another chapter to its remarkable journey, creating a history that continues nearly 100 years later. The obverse features the famous portrait of a Native American, representing courage, dignity, resilience, and the rich heritage of America's indigenous peoples. Although decades of circulation have naturally softened some details, much of the portrait's remarkable artistic beauty remains visible. Collectors continue admiring this powerful design because it captures both realism and symbolism in a way few other American coins have ever achieved. Turning the coin over reveals the magnificent American buffalo standing proudly upon a raised mound. The buffalo symbolizes endurance, freedom, strength, and the untamed spirit of the American frontier. Even after years of circulation, the powerful outline of this majestic animal often remains visible, reminding collectors why the buffalo nickel continues ranking among the most iconic coin designs in United States history. Collectors especially admire circulated buffalo nickels because every surviving example develops its own unique appearance over time. Every naturally aged surface, every softly worn high point, every tiny contact mark, and every subtle change in color reflects decades of genuine circulation. Unlike newly minted coins, circulated buffalo nickels proudly display the unmistakable evidence of real American history passing through countless hands. Every 1929 buffalo nickel struck at the Philadelphia Mint followed a different adventure after leaving the coining presses. Some remained inside busy cities where they changed hands many times every single day. Others quietly circulated through farming communities, mining towns, railroad stations, neighborhood shops, country stores, and family-owned businesses. Some eventually found their way into private collections, while countless others continued faithfully serving Americans for many decades before finally becoming collectible treasures. Next up, the 1988 Jefferson 5-cent nickel with the D mint mark in circulated condition. At first glance, this small 5-cent coin may seem like nothing more than everyday change that has quietly passed through countless hands. However, experienced collectors understand that every circulated Jefferson nickel carries a remarkable journey filled with history, craftsmanship, and unforgettable moments. Every naturally aged surface, every softly worn detail, and every tiny mark left by decades of circulation tells a story that cannot be repeated, making this coin far more interesting than its face value might suggest. The Jefferson nickel first entered circulation in 1938, and quickly became one of the most recognized coins in the United States. Created to honor Thomas Jefferson, America's third president, the coin replaced the famous buffalo nickel while introducing a fresh new design that has remained popular for generations. For decades, Jefferson nickels have faithfully served Americans by helping pay for groceries, newspapers, school lunches, bus fares, snacks, and thousands of everyday purchases. This long history has transformed the coin into an important part of American life and an essential piece of modern numismatic history. The D mint mark tells collectors that this particular 1988 Jefferson nickel was struck at the historic Denver Mint, one of the busiest minting facilities in the country. Every coin produced there began its journey with brilliant mint luster, sharply defined lettering, beautiful design details, and outstanding manufacturing quality. Once released into circulation, these nickels spread across the nation, beginning unique journeys that would last for decades. Although millions of 1988 Jefferson nickels were produced, every surviving circulated example developed its own completely different story. The year 1988 represented an exciting period of technological growth, expanding businesses, busy highways, and changing lifestyles throughout America. Shopping malls welcomed growing crowds, neighborhood stores remained full of customers, families gathered around television each evening, and new inventions continued shaping everyday life. Throughout this memorable year, Jefferson nickels quietly passed from one pocket to another, becoming trusted companions during millions of ordinary transactions that together created extraordinary history. A circulated 1988 Jefferson nickel possesses a special beauty that only years of honest use can create. Unlike coins carefully preserved immediately after leaving the mint, circulated examples proudly display authentic signs of their remarkable journeys. Every softened design element, every naturally toned surface, and every tiny contact mark reminds collectors that this coin faithfully served the American public exactly as it was intended. These genuine characteristics give every circulated nickel its own unmistakable personality. Imagine where this remarkable Jefferson nickel may have traveled during its incredible lifetime. Perhaps it rested inside the wallet of a hardworking teacher, accompanied a family on a memorable summer vacation, or passed through busy grocery stores, restaurants, movie theaters, and neighborhood businesses. Maybe it helped purchase a newspaper on a cool morning, bought a favorite candy after school, or quietly waited inside a cash register before beginning another exciting chapter of its journey. One of the greatest pleasures of collecting coins comes from realizing that every circulated coin quietly connects thousands of different people across many generations. This 1988 Jefferson nickel may have passed through the hands of students, doctors, mechanics, factory workers, cashiers, business owners, travelers, parents, grandparents, and children. Every transaction became another invisible page in its remarkable story, creating a history that continues growing with every passing year. The obverse proudly displays the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson, one of America's most influential founding fathers. His thoughtful expression represents leadership, knowledge, vision, and dedication to the ideals upon which the nation was built. Even after decades of circulation, much of the portrait remains clearly visible on a well-preserved circulated example, allowing collectors to continue appreciating the outstanding artistry behind this timeless design. Turning the coin over reveals the historic Monticello, Jefferson's famous Virginia home. This elegant building has appeared on Jefferson Nickels for generations and remains one of the most recognizable architectural designs in American coinage. Even in circulated condition, many important details of Monticello remain visible, demonstrating the exceptional craftsmanship that continues making the Jefferson nickel one of America's most admired circulating coins. Collectors especially appreciate circulated Jefferson nickels because every surviving example develops its own completely unique appearance over time. Every naturally aged surface, every softly polished high point, every tiny contact mark, and every gentle sign of circulation reflects decades of genuine public use. These authentic characteristics create individuality that cannot be duplicated, making every circulated nickel different from every other example. Every 1988 Jefferson nickel struck at the Denver Mint followed its own remarkable adventure after leaving the coining presses. Some remained inside busy metropolitan areas where they changed hands many times every day. Others quietly circulated through rural communities, schools, airports, hospitals, convenience stores, family-owned businesses, and neighborhood restaurants. Some entered private collections shortly after release, while many continued faithfully serving Americans for decades before finally attracting collector attention. Holding this remarkable Jefferson nickel today creates an immediate connection to another era. It reminds us of a time before smartphones, digital wallets, online shopping, and streaming entertainment became everyday conveniences. During those years, physical coins remained an essential part of daily commerce, making this nickel a genuine witness to countless ordinary moments shared by millions of Americans. Many families unknowingly preserved Jefferson nickels inside piggy banks, dresser drawers, coffee cans, kitchen jars, old purses, wallets, and treasured family coin albums. Years later, these forgotten coins often become meaningful keepsakes passed from grandparents to children and grandchildren. Next up, the fascinating 1961 Jefferson 5-cent nickel with the D Mint mark in black circulated condition. At first glance, this small nickel may appear worn, darkened, and ordinary after decades of circulation, but experienced collectors understand that appearances often hide remarkable history. Every naturally dark surface, every softened design detail, and every tiny mark created through years of honest use tells the story of a coin that faithfully served generations of Americans. Rather than reducing its character, the dark circulated appearance gives this nickel a unique personality that reminds us of its long and unforgettable journey through everyday life. The Jefferson nickel first entered circulation in 1938 as a tribute to Thomas Jefferson, one of the most influential figures in American history. Designed to replace the Buffalo nickel, this new coin introduced a fresh portrait of Jefferson on the obverse and his famous Virginia home, Monticello, on the reverse. Over the decades, Jefferson nickels became one of the hardest working coins in American commerce, helping people make everyday purchases while quietly becoming an important part of countless family memories and historic moments. The D Mint mark identifies this particular coin as having been struck at the famous Denver Mint, one of the busiest coin-producing facilities in the United States. Every 1961 Jefferson nickel produced there began its life with brilliant mint luster, crisp lettering, sharp design details, and smooth metallic surfaces. Once released into circulation, each coin started its own unique adventure. While millions were produced during 1961, every surviving circulated example experienced different journeys, making each coin completely unique. The year 1961 was a memorable period in American history. The nation looked toward the future with optimism while technology advanced, communities expanded, and families embraced new opportunities. Busy downtown streets, neighborhood grocery stores, schools, restaurants, movie theaters, and local businesses all relied on coins like this Jefferson nickel to keep commerce moving. Every purchase, every exchange, and every transaction added another chapter to the remarkable history carried by this small 5-cent coin. A Jefferson nickel preserved in black circulated condition possesses a special kind of beauty appreciated by many collectors. The naturally darkened surfaces reflect years of exposure to circulation, storage, changing environments, and the passage of time. Rather than seeing only wear, collectors often recognize these natural surfaces as evidence of authenticity. Every shade of color, every softly worn high point, and every tiny mark contributes to a unique appearance that cannot be artificially recreated. Imagine where this remarkable nickel may have traveled throughout its incredible lifetime. It may have rested inside the pocket of a factory worker during a busy shift, accompanied a family on a memorable road trip, or passed through neighborhood grocery stores, local diners, service stations, and small-town businesses. Perhaps it helped buy a cold drink during a hot summer afternoon, purchased school supplies for a young student, or quietly waited inside an old cash register before beginning another exciting chapter of its remarkable journey. One of the greatest pleasures of coin collecting comes from realizing that every circulated coin silently connects countless lives across different generations. This 1961 Jefferson nickel may have passed through the hands of teachers, mechanics, doctors, students, business owners, travelers, parents, grandparents, cashiers, and hardworking employees. Every exchange became another invisible page in its remarkable history, creating a story that continues growing more fascinating with every passing decade. The obverse proudly displays the distinguished portrait of Thomas Jefferson, America's third president and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. His thoughtful expression symbolizes intelligence, leadership, and the enduring ideals upon which the nation was built. Even after decades of circulation, much of Jefferson's portrait remains recognizable, allowing collectors to continue appreciating the outstanding artistic craftsmanship that has made this design one of America's most familiar coin portraits. Turning the coin over reveals the elegant image of Monticello, Jefferson's historic Virginia estate. This architectural masterpiece has appeared on Jefferson Nickels for generations and remains one of the most recognizable buildings in American coinage. Even with years of circulation and naturally darkened surfaces, much of Monticello's beautiful design often remains visible, demonstrating the remarkable quality of the original engraving. Collectors especially admire black circulated Jefferson Nickels because every coin develops its own completely unique appearance over time. Every naturally toned surface, every softly polished high point, every tiny scratch, and every subtle change in color reflects decades of genuine circulation. These authentic characteristics give every circulated nickel individuality that cannot be duplicated by newly minted examples. Every 1961 Jefferson nickel struck at the Denver Mint followed a different path after leaving the coining presses. Some remained inside bustling cities where they changed hands countless times every week. Others quietly circulated through farming communities, neighborhood stores, schools, airports, restaurants, hospitals, and family-owned businesses. Some eventually entered collections, while many continued faithfully serving Americans for decades before finally becoming collectible pieces of history. Holding this remarkable Jefferson nickel today creates an immediate connection to another era of American life. It reminds us of a time before smartphones, online shopping, digital wallets, and social media transformed everyday routines. Physical coins remained essential for nearly every purchase, making this nickel a genuine witness to millions of ordinary moments shared across the nation. Many families unknowingly preserve Jefferson Nickels inside kitchen jars, dresser drawers, coffee cans, piggy banks, purses, old wallets, and treasured family coin albums. Years later, these forgotten coins often become meaningful discoveries during family cleanouts or inheritances.